Fashi, do Buddhists celebrate New Year?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year. Well, we don't celebrate in the sense of celebrating it. We have our Buddhist New Year, which we celebrate. It's called the Vesaka, which is celebrates the birth of Buddha, the enlightenment of Buddha, and entering into parinirvana of Buddha, which happens on the same day. But if Buddhists live in different cultures, and then they respect, if the celebrations are not of a religious type, then they celebrate. Not in a religious sense. For instance, if Buddhists live in a Christian country, which actually this New Year, the date 2011 commemorates the birth of Jesus, but also in different parts of the world, the New Year, it has become a sort of celebration. For instance, we live in Israel, we don't feel the celebrations, but although they also use as a secondary date, because there is a Hebrew calendar and what they call a Gregorian calendar. They don't call it a Christian. So they use the calendar, and some people maybe they not celebrate, but they call it Sylvester. They go out, to some restaurant, and sometimes there are some fireworks. This year, because of the religious opposition, there were no fireworks. So it depends. It depends. We, for instance, as Buddhists living in Israel, we very much feel the Jewish New Year, because there are a lot of celebrations, so it's very much felt by everyone. So I think as Buddhists we should respect others' religions, as long as they don't interfere with our path, because also respect is mutual. I respect you, you respect me. But in any way, Buddhism is a very tolerant path. So these things also, they are external things. Even for Christians, I think it's a moral way of gathering, of getting together at Christmas Eve and the New Year's Eve. So they take a vacation, they drink a lot, they eat a lot. So, but there is also the trend of shopping. A lot of, shopping, renewing furniture, clothes, finding a spouse. So all these things, they are nice in a way, but for a Buddhist, if you ask me, the real celebration should be when he reaches enlightenment, when a Buddhist attains the Tao, what we call it in Chinese Buddhism. So that's a real celebration. and that we should celebrate every year. But also the taking of the refuge in the Triratna, Sambha, what's called in Chinese. So it's also a way of celebrating. It should be a day of celebration. So a person, because on that day, it's like you are taking a new birth. Your real birth is when you are born, when you take the refuge. Because taking refuge in Buddhism is also becoming a Buddhist. Because then you make a commitment, you declare it in front of the Sangha, that from this day on you are going to take a refuge in the three jewels, in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and in the Sangha. Actually, you take refuge in your own true nature, the Buddha nature. So this is a way of celebration. I, for instance, from the moment I took refuge, I left all other ways of religion, for instance, having a strong Jewish background. In my family, there were great masters, great Kabbalah masters, Kabbalists, all the way back from Sepharad, from Spain. But the moment, and I myself, well, I practiced this, but the moment I took refuge, I left everything. I didn't go anymore to synagogue. I didn't keep the commandments. I disassociated it totally, completely, from any form which is connected with the Judaism. I don't see myself as a Jew. I see myself as a human being. I left all these notions that I was indoctrinated, that we are above other nations, that we were chosen from amongst all other nations to be the chosen peoples of God. And I had a special place even in Judaism, besides being with the Jewish Kabbalistic background. Also, I belonged to a priestly family, Kohanim. So I had the privilege of going to the synagogue, or I had the privilege of reading the Torah, not paying because they take payment. And so I had a very special, so I had the privilege also of blessing the congregation. I had the privilege not to come in contact with the death. That means the priest is not to go to the cemetery. They have to be pure, as chosen by God. So I disassociated. The moment I took refuge, that is my really celebration. And of course, when I had the confirmation of the Dharma seal from my master, that was the highest celebration for me. I don't make from this fuss. It doesn't come about with the drinking or dancing, but that is my true celebration. So we should respect and enjoy and be happy. And that's it, I think. May Buddha bless you. Namo Amitofo.